Mastering balance is crucial, and it's also important to know when not to pursue it. Let's talk about it. Balance to me is just the even distribution of various sounds in your mix, like vocals, instruments, and effects, so that everything is clearly heard, but no sound overshadows another sound. It's hard to get a good balance when you have no direction, so these are some steps that I take to make that process super efficient and to make sure that I make really good decisions from the start. For me, the most important thing is finding a really good level to listen at for my entire mix. So I'll find a really good volume for my monitors before I even start mixing or balancing anything. So I'll turn my monitors all the way down and then I'll slowly bring them up until I can clearly hear everything, and then I stop. I mix very quiet. If I mix loud, I feel like I lose depth when it comes to hearing changes in volume. When I listen loud, everything is basically loud. So if I turn something down on my fader, it's still going to be loud. But if I listen quiet and I turn something down, it's super quiet because I'm already listening quiet. So I can easily detect changes in volume when I listen quieter rather louder. When we mix loud, or if you're listening to music loud, notice how your muscles in your ears tense up and they try to dampen the sound. I used to mix loud all the time, and I would add a ton of high end to my mixes. And then the next day I would listen to the mix again and it would sound completely different because my ears were so tense because of all the loud frequencies coming in that it would dampen what I'm listening to. Therefore, I would compensate by adding a ton of high end. When I listen quiet, it keeps my ears nice and relaxed, prevents ear fatigue. I can hear volume changes a lot easier. I can hear my compression easier. It's just all around better in the long run. Also, it helps with your efficiency. The next step I do after I find that perfect volume where it's not too loud, it's not too quiet, it's just perfect where it's not ruining my ears, I'll listen to the song all the way through. Don't touch any faders, don't do any mixing. Just listen to it all the way through and get a vision of where you want the mix to be, what emotion that the song is telling you. It could be happy, sad, just simple words, and that will guide me through my whole mixing process. After I listen to the song all the way through and get a vision for how I want the song to sound, and also take into account how the artist wants their song to sound, I will start moving faders. 99% of the time on my second listen through, whatever balance choices I make on that second listen will be the most accurate decisions I make probably in the entire mix. If a mix takes me like 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever, those balance decisions when I first start mixing are the most important decisions that I make, because that is when I am the most objective without even really trying to make sure that it's the most important decisions I make. It just kind of happens naturally. As I'm mixing, I will change faders, but the faders will only change about like a dB or two, because when you start mixing, you start fixing problems, any frequency masking issues. Certain elements will pop out more than other things because you fix issues. So I'll probably do like a dB, 2 dB max balance changes after my initial balance setting. I used to have a huge problem, which was turning up the volume slowly, inch by inch throughout the entire mix. So if I was mixing for whatever, however many hours, it would start at my perfect mix level volume, and then it would end up like basically turn all the way up. I think it's honestly, I couldn't tell you why, but I think it's because you start like really enjoying the mix. You're like, oh, this is a cool effect. Oh, this vocal sounds good. This kick sounds good. I want to hear more of it. I want to hear more of it. Like ear candy. Trust me, if you just wait until you're done, made the last decision of your mix, you tweaked your mix bus, whatever, turn it up after that, and you will be amazed of how good it sounds and how fast you got there. Now, there are a lot of instances where a perfectly balanced mix is super boring, like insanely boring. It's like, okay, I can hear everything, cool, but there's nothing exciting happening, like a really cool effect that's super loud, like ping ponging or whatever, that's kind of distracting. But if it adds to the song, or for example, like a hook that you already know the words to, and then you add an effect on like the repeat of that hook that you want to make really loud so that it's like, whoa, what is that? Just have fun with it. There's no rules. So do whatever you think is best, do what you feel is best, and happy mixing.